Hello and welcome to lesson number 11 of Learn to Play the Violin with me. Make sure you're tuned and make sure you have your bow because I promise we actually will get to that this lesson. Okay, I'm going to start the 15-minute timer and we will jump right back in where we left off last lesson. We had just finished page number 11 of the Essential Elements Violin Book 1. We did number 32, the Essential Elements Quiz, up the D scale. So remember, we officially know all the notes of the D major scale. So before we play this, let's review. D is the second open string going down. Do you remember which note is one finger? When you put one finger on the D string, that is that's an E. Good. How about two fingers? What would that be? Two fingers on the D string. That is F sharp. F sharp. Okay, and we add the third string. What note is that? G. G. The next string going down is what? It's A. Open A. When we add one finger to the A string, that is B. B. Adding a second finger down is C sharp. And then we're adding three fingers. What note does that make it? D. Good. Make sure you're reviewing those so that when they stop putting in the note names in the music, you are familiar with where to play and where to read them on the staff. Okay, let's play number 32, Essential Elements Quiz, up the D scale. We'll start with low D, which is open, second string going down. 1, 2, ready, play. D, 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 E, 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 F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, G, 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 A, B, 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 C sharp, C sharp, C sharp, D, D, D. How'd that go for you? It went pretty well for me. One thing I am going to work on when we try it again is to not look down. I'm going to try not to look down at all or as little as possible. That's a really good habit that I'm going to work on because remember, I'm learning how to play just like you are. Let's try it again and think of something that you can improve for this next playing. Here we go. I'm going to position my fingers so that I don't have to look down when I play E, F sharp, and G on that D string. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. D, 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 E, 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 F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, G, 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 A, B, 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 C sharp, C sharp, C sharp, D, D, D. All right, it's officially time to turn the page to page number 12. And check it out, Bow Builder 4. So let's put our violin down and we are going to pick up our bow. We finally get to use the bow. All right. On the bow, early bow hold. Step number 1, identify all the parts of the bow. See page 2. Hold the bow in your left hand near the tip with the frog pointing to the right. Okay, so the parts that we need to know for this exercise, it said tip. Tip is right here. It said the frog is right here. So it's the part right down here at the base. And then the stick and the bow hair. Those are obviously probably going to be referred to at some point when we're learning how to play the bow. Okay. Identify all the parts of the bow. We did those. You can always look at page 2 if you have the book and you want to go back and learn the other parts of the bow. Hold the bow in your left hand near the tip with the frog pointing to the right. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to hold it at like the balance point so that it's not significantly heavier on one side than the other. Okay. So it gets like a little closer to the tip than the frog. Okay. Step 2, put your right thumb and second finger on the bow stick near the middle of the bow. Your right thumb and second finger on the bow stick near the middle of the bow. Okay, I'm going to put it near the middle, but kind of at the balance point. Shape your right hand on the bow stick as shown. Okay, so it shows like how we've been practicing with the pencil, that we are balancing it, making an oval with the second finger and the thumb, and we're kind of tilting it and draping our fingers up with our pinky resting up on the stick and our finger number 1, our pointer finger, draping over. Turn your right hand over and be sure your thumb and fingers are curved. Okay, so make sure you're holding it tightly. Be sure your thumb and fingers are curved, so you're turning it over, and make sure that you're creating that oval with your second finger and your thumb. Okay. Step 5, hold the bow and repeat the exercises on page 8. Okay, I will go there for us. You just hold on to that bow. Wave goodbye while keeping your wrist relaxed. Okay. So keeping a relaxed wrist and a flexible wrist is really important. Flex your thumb in and out, so kind of make it straight and then curve it. Tap your first finger, then tap your fourth finger. Turn your hand over and be sure your thumb knuckle is bent as shown. Okay, turn it over. All right, good. Okay, yay, we held the bow. We did it. Awesome. All right, let's put it down and pick our violin back up. Okay, let's get back to work. I guess that was work too. Song number 33, Song for Christine. Okay, here we go. We are starting with high D. Do you remember where that is? It's on the A string, 3 fingers. So we'll start with D, high D. Looks like we're using all of the notes of the D major scale. And we are not just going by step anymore. Remember, step is when you're going from one note to the very next note going up or down. Looks like we're kind of starting to skip around, which is awesome. Okay, it's 2 lines long, and you can tell that because at the end of line 1, there's a single bar line, which means the song is not done yet. And then the double bar line at the end means that it's over, and there's no double dots. That means it's not a repeat. Okay, let's try it from the beginning. Let's sight read it and see what happens, starting with high D. 1, 2, ready, and D, D, C sharp, C sharp, B, B, A, rest, G, G, F sharp, D, E, 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 rest. Okay, let's stop. I know we were going to sight read that whole thing, but that measure 3 is pretty tricky. So first, going from measure 2 to measure 3 is tricky. Going from the open A, putting all 3 fingers down for the G. So let's try going from A to G. So lift up your fingers for open A, then put all 3 down, G, try it again, A, G, again, A, G, one more time, A, G. Now let's try measures 3 and 4, starting on the G. We're going to try real slow. Here we go, because we are kind of skipping from the F sharp to the D and then going back to the E. So try it nice and slow. Here we go, starting on the G. Ready, play. G, G, F sharp, D, E, 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 rest. Let's try that again. Starting with G, 3 fingers. Remember, when you take your fingers off for that open D and then you have to put the first finger back on for the E, make sure that you're not lifting your fingers like this the whole way off, because then the chances of you hitting the correct spot is less likely. So just kind of hover your fingers just very, very slightly over the string so that you can keep your fingers in the same position. Let's try G. Here we go. Starting on G at measure 3. 1, 2, ready, play. G, G, F sharp, D, E, E, E. All right, good. Let's start at the beginning. Let's start with measure 1 and play through measure 4. 1, 2, ready, play. D, D, C sharp, C sharp, B, B, A, rest, G, G, F sharp, D, E, 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 rest. All right, let's try that one more time. Nice. Here we go. Still nice and slow. No rush. 1, 2, ready, play. Great. Okay, let's look at line number 2. So we are playing D, F sharp, A. I think that's the quickest that we've ever, that's like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know. But we are going from one string to the next pretty quickly there. Okay, so we're playing D, then 2 fingers on F sharp, and then moving down a string to open A. Okay, so that, let's just try those first 3 notes of measure number 5. D, F sharp, A, and make sure you're matching the pitches that I'm singing and playing. Here we go. Ready? Let's try that. Ready, play. D, F sharp, A. Try that again. Ready, play. D, F sharp, A. Good. All right, let's continue on now. Ready, play. D, F sharp, A, B, B, A, rest. G, G, A, D, 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 rest. Okay, let's look at the last 2 measures starting on G. So we play 3 fingers on the A string for G. Then we open up to the open A string. I'm sorry, no. G is played with 3 fingers on the D string, sorry. And then we move down a string to open A, and then we open up, we take our fingers off that G so that we can play the open D string. Okay, so on the D string, we're putting 3 fingers down for that G. Ready, play. G, G, A, D, D, D. Let's do that again. 3 fingers on the D string for G. Ready, play. G, G, A, D, D, D. Let's try line number 2. Nice and slow. There is no rush. It's better that we get the mechanics correct than finish quickly. There's no rush at all. No reason to go quicker, because the faster you go when you're learning, the easier it is to make a mistake, and then you're kind of learning bad patterns and you have to undo that mistake. And so it's better to go really slow and play it correctly. Here we go. Line number 2. 1, 2, ready, play. D, F sharp, A, B, B, A, rest. G, G, A, D, D, D. Okay, feel free at any time to pause if there's anything in particular in any of these pieces that you want to go over more than we go over together. So that's totally fine. All right, let's do the whole song, Song for Christine. Here we go. Starting at measure 1 with the high D. D. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. Okay, so I'll just talk about a couple things that happened with me during that. I had to look down a couple times to make sure that my fingers were in the right position. It's good. There's nothing like illegal about looking down, but it's just a great habit to get used to. That's why I keep bringing it up, to not to look down as little as possible. And also the first E that I played in measure number 4, I noticed that I think I was sharp, so which means that my finger was up too far on the string. So for that second one, I pulled it down just a tiny little bit to adjust the note. So if you hear the discrepancy in the note that I played, that's what happened. So when you're playing, that stuff's going to happen. And sometimes it makes sense to stop and drill something, and then other times it makes sense to adjust as you go. And this time I just adjusted and didn't stop playing, but adjusted as I went. All right, so that was lesson number 11. Thank you so much for joining me, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.